Hello, everyone, and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotroStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. I'm Lotro's community manager, Cordovan, and I'm going to be here over the next hour answering some of your questions, talking a little bit about the latest news, playing a little bit of Lotro over on Landreval, and overall just kind of hanging out. It's a pizza shirt day. It is a pizza shirt day. Yes, it is. All right. One thing you may notice is if some of the sound is a little different here, if some of the way the show is looking is a little bit different, it's because I got a new computer here, and I'm working through some of the final pieces to get it exactly where I want to be. One of the final pieces I have is I'm trying to figure out if I can resolve a kind of an audio video speaking lag thing. It's real close, but it's not quite there, and it bugs people who see it. So I'm working on that, but I couldn't get that one locked in this morning. However, I've got a whole bunch of stuff kind of reset and refreshed and all the rest here on the stream, so we should be sounding good. We should be looking generally pretty good. We should be good to go on the show here with a slightly more polished production quality. So please get me your feedback. Let me know how things go. I know I've got a little bit of a patch of sun right there. When the sun goes away through the green screen, that'll be that. Big question, ETA on the producer's letter. No ETA to announce. It's going to be a little while yet. We're much earlier in the process. DDO got its producer's letter this week, but that's has nothing to do with where Lotro's at whatsoever. They operate on their own schedules. And we have a ways to go on the Lotro producer's letter yet, so nothing to announce. I've said this a million zillion times, but let me say it plus one. The easiest part is the actual writing of the letter. That takes like half an afternoon, maybe tops. It's all the other stuff that takes a while. So all right, hello everyone over on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. I wanted to start off the show here by going over some release notes because we had update 25.3 this week, released on Wednesday. That has our 3 new Minas Morgul instances. If you've got the Minas Morgul expansion, you've got these instances. If you don't have it, you can make a purchase to do so. We released them on Wednesday, and we're working on a hot fix. We're working on a bug patch fix for, I think, Tuesday-ish of this upcoming week, and that is going to address bugs in one instance in particular, which I will get to, along with an issue with the launcher news feed, which I will get to. However, this week brought Bar Nirnath, the Houses of Lamentation, Gashan Kutat, the Halls of Black Lore, and the Fallen Kings, which is an instance that takes place during the Second Age. It is only available as a 6-person. The other are also available in solo, duo, etc. We do have the Leading the Charge deed available for the Minas Morgul 6-player instances to complete until March 2nd at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, so basically through March 1st, in terms of being able to get the Leading the Charge deeds for these Minas Morgul 6-person instances. We also did make a couple of quick crafting adjustments, really in response to the last patch, and a little bit of item work. Also, loot box gear, when open at level 130, is now base eye level 407. Adventurers Quartermasters will now offer softly moonlit essences and incomparable armor and jewelry for level 130 characters. A couple of fixes on instances, a couple of translation issues, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back on that one, unfortunately. We are aware there are some additional, brand new French and German translation issues that came in with update 25.3 here. Sorry, we are working on that. We do have a fix internally already in place. That will probably go out next Tuesday as well. Now, known issues, particularly with Bar Nirneath, the Houses of Lamentation. The discovery deed is not completing. This instance cannot be accessed from the landscape because you can't complete the discovery deed. However, you don't need it. We have temporarily set it so that you do not need the deed for access for the Houses of Lamentation. And the instance can be entered through the instance finder. So you can just do that. Specifically on the solo dual versions of the instance, the boss, Agath Kali, can continuously reset, preventing completion, and then players can find themselves unable to get back into the battle with the Gaunt Woman after a party wipe. So, if you do have a party wipe during your battle with the Gaunt Woman, you may find yourself unable to complete. Just reset it and try again. This is something we're going to be fixing for Tuesday along with the other two issues above. I have heard that we are also looking into a bug with the Halls of Black Lore, and we are looking into a particularly difficult battle in that one. And then finally, like I said, we're working on an issue with the launcher feed. And let me actually call up something here because I can just kind of show you how this is going to work. If I could find my own announcements. There we go. Launcher issue, newsfeed not displaying. So we did some work this week to correct a technical issue in HTTP to HTTPS redirect. And the reason we're doing that is well, for a bunch of reasons, but one of them is it's improving the slowness. It's not fixing the problem with the Lotro.com forum slowness, but it led to a pretty dramatic improvement for many, including myself, in terms of being able to log in successfully in that. I still am seeing that white screen when I log in sometimes in that. But in general, the forums are loading better after this change. However, it caused a problem because the launcher newsfeed is not pointing to the right place. So we need that's hard-coded, or we found a place where it was hard-coded, rather. So we need to just kind of quick make a adjustment for next week on that. In the meantime, I don't know how many of you know this. Certainly if you operate a blog or a Discord channel and that, you might. But our launcher newsfeed is simply a RSS feed. It's an XML file. And what that means is basically any kind of, if you've got Chrome that can read an RSS feed or whatever, blog reader, podcast things even sometimes will do it, whatever, you can just grab it and put it there. In addition, there's a link on the forums, which I will get into this announcement today, where you can just go straight to the launcher newsfeed on Lotro.com as well. But this should just basically be an issue through the weekend. It should be solved next week. Dramatic improvements. Now, like I said, I still am seeing some white screening on logging in. Trust me when I say I feel your pain as an admin for the forums. You think it's bad for you. No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. But it is, however, very slow, and we're having some login issues. And we do have kind of some long-term plans to address that, which I've discussed previously. But in the meantime, we've made an improvement, and the only kind of byproduct is that is temporarily people cannot see the launcher news feed in the launcher. So if we're having downtime and stuff, and you don't have a bookmarked or something to just kind of quick find the launcher news feed in Lotro.com, just keep an eye on Twitter, Facebook. That's where that stuff's going to go. So, all right. So I have got basically everything I think I need to say about this week's patch, the known issues, and sort of what we got going on. So I guess I'm just going to head into game here a little bit and see where we go. I am happy to say that I've got the game client working much better than last week. I actually solved the issue of what it was last week. It was simply an XSplit issue. I was trying to stream out 3 streams in 1080p rather than my usual 720, and so I was just kind of choking the bandwidth output. That's what was happening. That's why if you were seeing a lot of stuttering and stuff and I wasn't seeing it, it's because I wasn't seeing it in the game client, but we were seeing it over on XSplit, and I corrected that this week as well. I actually spent most of yesterday afternoon kind of working a little bit around the stream room. because I'm that kind of nerd, because it's Friday, I want to show myself off. You know what I did this week? So I got a new keyboard and setup and everything for the stream room here, as you can see. I've got like an Elgato Stream Deck there. See that Elgato Stream Deck? And I got that all set up for this computer for Elotra Stream here as well. Then I totally, despite having all these computers, I organized a million cords here. Got them all fed largely into it. We've got the two new computers, one for the DDO side, one for the Elotra side. And then I've got my mixing boards there. That one is for input, one is for output. The silver one is output, that's where my headphones plug in. The blue one is input, that's where the microphones and such go as necessary. You can see I even kind of got the cords all set up there. So I have to say I'm pretty happy with the way things are looking here in the stream room at the moment. It's looking pretty good, so there we go. Anyway, that's what I've been up to a little bit yesterday. So I was pretty happy. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the work that's been done, and I'm almost there. If I can just solve this little kind of slight couple millisecond latency issue with my microphone, I think I'll be much happier. It's true. I have a pretty just kind of hacked together, I guess you could say, live stream setup, but it's pretty good and it works pretty well, and that's ultimately what matters here, is that it works pretty well. So I like it. I actually see I need to do just a little bit of work on the chroma keying as well, but I can get that done. Move that up. Try that. I guess for now I'm just going to kind of roll with what I got. But I'll do some tweaking on the webcam settings, I think, to lower the brightness a little bit too, and see how that goes. All right, so where am I? I'm on Landraval. I just finished up basically the intro to Shades in the Swamp and all. And now I am going to talk to Vamisil at Dingarth. The Sons of Isildur have conducted their inspection. Now Vamisil wishes to speak with me.
Dingarth is as prepared as it needs to.
Let me know how the audio video... I can see I do need to do a few webcam tweaks, but that's fine. I can do that whenever. How does the... Also let me know how the audio-video comparison... I do want to be able to hear the in-game client, but I also need to be able to speak in a regular tone of voice. Well, speak in my tone of voice, I guess would be a more accurate statement. And then still be able to play the game. As much as I would enjoy reporting, the defense is insufficient, if only to see on Squirm, I cannot. Dingarth is as prepared as it needs to be. I presume that is your doing? Of course it is. I have taken a liking to you, friend. What say you to returning to Adambel with us? You will find the company much more pleasing. No, my brothers will not object. You need to think of a birthday present to give to Tarandil and bring it with you when you come to Adambel. Ask him what he wants.
I don't want anything, really.
Yeah, you know what? You know what people mean when they say, "Oh, don't get me anything." They mean get them something. I know you, Tarandil.
Like this.
Yeah.
Tarandil never wants anything.
He's always like this. Nice. With the computer volume at 50% and stream at 50% volume, it seems like a good audio mix in the video is much better. Yeah, that's about what I've got is about... Actually, I've got the Lotro game client set to about 40, but my mic tends to be kind of whatever it is. Belrain, let me actually... Did you have a question? I'm sorry. Any news on when we're going to see the new raid on Bull Roar? No, I do not have any news on that. As soon as I know more, I will let you know. I would imagine it would be, pretty near future here. No, I am sorry to report, Lariana. I am actually not that tall a dude. I'm like 5'8". And that's it, so. Could say I'm about that close to average. Yeah. Okay, Yiki, I think I did discuss the bugs in the instances, so hopefully I got that taken care of for you. Okay, over on YouTube, why the Moats gear for level 85 cap is a level 123 plus, and the highest we'll be getting from game content is 100. Metallic Maniac. I am assuming that you are talking about the upcoming Riders of Rohan hitting the Legendary Worlds in February. We have not really talked about how itemization is going to work and what will be available there on release, so let's hang off on that. But I do appreciate you letting me know about your concern with the Moats gear perhaps being higher than what you can currently get in game, if I read that correctly. Feels unfair for those of us on the Legendary, who care about content more than Moats. It's always going to be kind of a shifting target to make sure our Moats vendor aligns with the current content on Legendary, and hopefully we get it right most of the time, but it sounds like maybe we didn't in this case, in which case we can always take a look at it in the future. Yeah, Andy, it was hard to watch. I was really unhappy with last week's Court of the Rings live stream, which is exactly why I went and spent about half an afternoon yesterday kind of working in the stream room here. Orcs and wargs. That's what I'm up to, is orcs and wargs. Okay, and I can do that. I don't have a release date announcement for the racial change items. I will say that they are coming sooner rather than later. Hopefully we'll have some news to share. Oops, wrong way. Me riding out of town in Lord of the Rings Online is a little bit like a USB plug. I have a 50% chance to get it wrong 100% of the time. I am sorry to say. So the race change stuff we'll be hearing about, I believe, in the pretty near future. And hopefully we'll be able to have some more information soon, along with some more information soon on probably the other massive topic, which is when on character transfers and the shared account storage bits of that. So we're nearing a place where we can get you a whole lot more info on it. And hopefully we'll be able to do that then, real soon. I actually think I need to turn the combat sound down slightly. Okay, see if that's a little bit better. Yeah, that battle music was too loud. I mean, I'm kind of tweaking this in. Like I said, I worked basically yesterday to get the studio looking good, get the Stream Deck set up with Lord of the Rings Online. A Stream Deck is basically, for those who aren't in the live streaming scene, is basically a 15-button hotkey. but it's specifically set up in its software to work with like XSplit and OBS and all this other stuff to make the job of streaming significantly easier for you. One of the things like you can do is real quick turn on and off the mic, you can turn on and off the speaker, you can grab a quick screenshot, which is actually something I need to be better at doing. I could switch scenes. I can find out how many people are watching on Twitch and YouTube at a glance, for example. They have little viewer counts. And a whole bunch of little things like that. And if I want to, I can actually push like little messages to chat rooms and things like that as needed, so. Anyway, it's pretty neat, but you have to kind of set it up. It takes a little bit of work to set it up. And so, since I've been doing all this work on XSplit and that yesterday with the new computer, I wanted to solve some of these long-term video audio sync issues, which I'm 80% of the way there to solving. I solved it over on the other side, and now I gotta fix it on the Lotra side. So that's basically where I sit on that. But anyway, the Stream Deck is really useful once you get it set up, because I can just real quick swap scenes and mute things and do all sorts of stuff that I need to do. So I wanted to get that done. And then it's actually pinged by each computer, right? So the computer I use in DDO is set up on the DDO side. After this fight, let me turn down the combat again. Turn that down. I'm actually going to turn, I think, just as an indicator for assuming when it gets louder, let me turn everything else down to about 50-ish% here. I think that should probably be more where we need to be. Yeah, the music's what's loud, but I think that's because that's what's prominent right now on the landscape. Hopefully I can find a good balance here. So, anyway, work in progress as it were, but should be making some good progress. So I'm happy to be doing this. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. I could fight the Woe of Khan. It's only 2.9 million morale compared to my 190,000. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah. So. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Yeah, yeah. You can also use it for like key lights and things if you're one of them fanciful. But it's really useful as just someone who has to do a lot of different streams from a lot of different computers, and that it really makes the process easier. And one of the other things I really like about it is it allows you to have a pretty easy push to talk on your microphone if your microphone does not have push to talk in a physical button format. Which, me being an old radio guy, I'm kind of used to a push-button format for vocal delivery. Less so nowadays, but still it feels right to me. Generally, the issue of an NPC outfit as a cosmetic, if we're unable to offer it, is because rather than, say, an item that is placed upon the NPC model, it may be like kind of hand-painted, hand-drawn onto the model. And in that case, it would essentially be a completely new task to turn it into a cosmetic version. And then sometimes you would do that kind of paint work because you might perhaps be having some issues with clipping or display or quite looking the way you want it to look. So sometimes it will make sense to do it that way. But it does mean that that particular outfit can't be kind of cosmeticified very easily. I also moved the entire computer up from the ground so I could redo all those chords, because, oh my gosh, were there a lot of chords? No pun intended, I guess. Anyway, it was a mess. So being able to finally do chord management, which took me several hours, by the way, is going to be a huge quality of life improvement for me on the stream room. There you go. These will work. My output bandwidth setting, I believe, is set to about 3,500 on all 3 platforms. I like longer hairstyles on my characters as well. You know, I kind of hinted a little bit earlier that one of the reason on an NPC they might kind of paint on an outfit rather than kind of make it an item, as it were, is due to kind of clipping and things like that. And just making it work well with all the animations and such. And I think that you would run into a very similar... The longer the hairstyle, the more likely you are to run into those kind of conflicts. So I think that that's part of the reason we have our hairstyles tending to be above the shoulder, although we certainly have longer hairstyles too, and just acceptance of a certain amount of occasional kind of clipping because of it. Tobex904, are you saying my stream looks very low res? I'm going to have to take a look at that. Hopefully make some improvements here in the future. Are you saying maybe I need to up the bandwidth more? If I can, I don't know. I will have to look at that, I guess. Clipping reduces the hair length. Ba-jump. Good one. That's exactly right, Lariana, about watching the playback after the stream and then doing it. That's what I did last week. Made some improvements for this week. That's hopefully what I'm going to do this week. Make some improvements for next week and what have you. But I've got it running, I think, generally pretty good here right now. And that's good. Hello, number 7 of 8. I'm gonna have to start kind of bringing that bow attack into my rotation a little bit better. It's working good. Keep forgetting to do it. Cool. Okay, so now going back to Hidden Bell, right? No. Jingarth? No, Aiden Bell. Okay. I know where this is. So Wambo, just so you to help position who I am, I'm the community manager for Standing Stone Games, which is the developer of the Lord of the Rings Online. And so I'm hired by the company that makes this game to just sort of tackle the needs of the community and be a conduit of information, in addition to a bunch of other kind of hats that community people tend to have. So as such, it would not be appropriate for me to comment on another studio's video game, whether it be a direct competitor of ours or not in general. But specifically with the other one, the statement, there was actually recently a Boston Globe article that had a quote from our executive producer on that. And I think that that's the best statement to put forth regarding the Amazon thing. But yeah, we made the front page of the Boston Globe business section last week. It was kind of rad. I actually snagged a copy for myself because it had our big Minas Morgul key art, the one that's behind me on the camera on the other scene, and all that, right on the front page business section. It was pretty cool. As a, as kind of an employee and everything, it was real neat to just sort of see yourself in the Boston Globe of all places, which is not, a tiny bit of press.
I told you I wanted for nothing, friend.
All right, win the war. I want that for my birthday. I want to go home. This camp sucks.
Do not encourage my sons in this foolish...
Oh, really? I have not seen Picard. I have not seen that. No spoilers, of course, because I haven't seen it. So what am I going to do? I am a TNG nerd. I love The Next Generation. So, I'm down for that one. What is the meaning of this foolishness? I pray you do not encourage my sons in this behavior, champion, or you will risk my anger. I have taught them the importance of an even temperament and a steady hand, for my sons are of a king's lineage, and a ruler has no time for jest. If you are a friend to them and to me, you will remind them of this from time to time. Tyrandil is mine to foster. While he is not in the line of kings, he is still dear to me. I deal with him as I deal with my sons, and it is my hope he will prove a good example to them and guide them on their path wherever it leads. Okay.
I cannot blame them for relaxing their guard.
Yeah. We are at 12:35, so we got plenty of time here. Let me just real quick pop over to chat while I can. Yeah, I really do think Chris and Jeff did a real cool job on the story on this one for sure. I'm probably not going to go long, Druids, because I do have to get a little thing called the Lotaro Beacon published this afternoon, along with the other game work. Sure, Bloodborne. I will look into the bit rate after I get off the air today. So. Can barely see the health numbers. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate Tobex you giving me that feedback. It looks like I will be doing some additional work then after the show. Dolthian, if you ever find yourself able to enter a zone that has not been released, that is not working as intended. Okay.
We need sharp blades and sturdy armor if we are to be prepared.
Okay. Great whetstones. Hey, Crate. Where are you? I'm helping. Yeah, I'm always like this. There you go. Okay, idle soldiers and the sons of Isildur. Am I just like giving it to these people or no? Idle soldiers. Are they specifically called idle soldiers? Oh, here we go. Idle soldier. Yep. Hey, why don't you go sharpen some stuff? Can we make skirmish essences bound to character, or put some other reward behind that event because it gives unfair advantage to people with multiple alts? I appreciate the feedback on that. I don't think we have any plans to do that. I don't think that'd be a very popular change, but potentially we could do that. I don't think it's being particularly abused that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong there, then perhaps I'm just not seeing enough of the feedback. Let the dev team know they did a good job in the 6-person instances. They're fun. Final boss of Lamentations and Black Lore needs some polished work still. I think that is going to be happening in the near future. We're going to be doing some polished work here. Where are you? Where are you?
I will not spurn the gift.
Why, thank you. I would say in general, we're not generally that opposed to people having alts and things. I mean, that's, why not, right?
We fight for a better day.
If it was being abused in a way that would need to be addressed, that would be certainly something we could take a look at. Okay. Where do I need to go? The other direction. Should be just a couple more idle soldiers hanging around here, and I just gotta find them. There we go.
Thank you, friend. I will make use of the whetstone
And
and
one more should be around here somewhere. No, no, no. I have not heard of plans to do a 50 to 120 Valar. I think we're probably going to focus more on kind of whole cloth Valars than ketchup ones.
thank you for the whetstone and my father's warning, though I needed neither.
Okay. I am a TNG fan. Can I name for me the only person in TNG history to play himself on the
Tedium of the
show?
hours is a dangerous foe for an army at rest.
Don't know. Can't think of it. Let me know, Carrick, over on YouTube. I'd love to know the end of the result of that. Happy to... Okay. Any news on race change? I already kind of mentioned we don't have any news, but it should be fairly soon. Oh, you're right, Darnolf. You're right. Yes, Darnolf over in Twitch chat got that one right. Stephen Hawking played himself.
It is the command of the High King. Let us begin.
Anyway, I'm down for
I am ready for
Star Trek. I love Star Trek. Always have been a Trekkie, even as a little kid. I'm not like perhaps as big a fan as lots of other people, but I do like it very much. Okay, so put the essences behind the T5 instances. The point is you can't catch up with this advantage. Everything else you close down with time, this you can't. Okay. Appreciate the feedback on that one. Oh, Karksarlis, you were wanting me to talk about that last week as well. I'm not opposed. I personally do not have the ability to... Oh, talk to Famoucell. I personally do not have the ability to sort of force champion work to the forefront. I know that is something you would like us to do. We are aware of that, and hopefully we will be able to get to your concerns as soon as we can. I know champions don't want to hear that. They kind of want to hear it's going to be done like next week, but as soon as I know more, I will let you know.
It was only a bit of fun, my friend.
Yes, I can tell them to do something. I might have. But, you know, still the unfortunate reality of the video game development process is it's a whirlwind of priorities, all of which are important. Some of which are more so than others. But it is something we know that the community wants us to work on. Vastin knows that people want him to work on it. And I imagine that's something he will get to as soon as he is able to. But no ETA to announce. Where do I stand on Deep Space Nine? Oh,
I will take a
it's
whetstone,
Oh,
fine.
and gladly.
My own
It's
sword
cool. There were
could use the
parts of it
sharp.
that I liked a lot.
It is no accident that brought me here.
Tales of the Bright Company. It is no accident that brought me hither, friend. No, indeed. I came here seeking you, for I have been given an errand for which you might be well suited. These two eyes have the keen sight of my people, but the eyes of one such as you might pick up some... Not me, but, you know. Scout, the Southern Reaches, at the behest of Glorfindel. Okay. Be a fine hunt. Patrol. Defeat foes. Talk to Maegoldir. Alright, so defeat foes. And find the location east that he wants to scout. Good enough. I can do this. I'm helping! Yes, Emmer Vorn, when picking the winner on the Lord of the Rings forum Beacon Weekly comment, do I private message the winner in the same day or after a while? I PM them generally within a couple of minutes of making the post on the forums. So I'll make the post and then I'll follow it back and send them a private message and take care of it pretty much immediately. Pretty much immediately. And that'll be happening this afternoon. Usually after I get back from lunch after the live stream. I publish the beacon. In this case, it's going to take me a little bit longer because I have to put together the French and German versions as well. So it might take me an extra hour or so, but not too bad. I would say the reason as a developer is because I'm not personally a developer. I am a community person, so I don't do the actual coding work. However, if you see a class, as Tobik says over on the Twitch chat, if we see a class is behind with DPS, why can we not just give the class an overall % increase in damage on their skills? You really don't have to change everything rotation-wise. You can just give them a % increase in DPS. That cannot be too much work, question mark. I think what you will find is that in a real-world scenario when we're doing that work, we will often find that a simple percentage increase would not lead to a desirable result. Reason for that potentially being things like they may be OP in one area or at one level range, but less so in another. So by doing a percentage adjustment on one end, you may fix an issue over here, but now you've created several issues somewhere else, for example. And so it's not as simple as just kind of fine-tuning knobs, power knobs, DPS knobs, as it were, among all the classes. It's far more complex than that, which is, you know, really the realm of systems devs to do the work on. However, in a perfect world, you do indeed find those things that you can do where you can make a relatively, you know, not very time-intensive adjustment and have the widest amount of impact. That's like kind of perfect world scenarios. When you can do that, you do. So I think another answer to that question is, when possible, that is what happens. It just isn't typically the way things are often work out. We have, a particularly vocal group of champions who really do want to see some work done on the class here in 2020. And I know they want me to kind of issue a promise that it'll be done, but I'm really just not in a position to do that. And as soon as I am in a position to say more about it, I look forward to being able to do so. Yep, as people said, no plans to bring back the Lord of the Rings lottery, the old web-based thing. It's related to tech that it's just long deprecated. So, character transfers are currently disabled on the live worlds. You can do a copy to Bullroar when available right now, but we're working hard to get that changed as soon as we can. And I do see progress being made on it, so things are not stalled or anything like that. So hopefully we'll have some more news on the return of character transfers and stuff in the relatively near future. Ola Benny, my favorite topping on pizza. That would be probably mushroom. Just plain mushroom pizza. Usually, I actually just generally get cheese. I think if you, as a pizza maker, can make a good cheese pizza, then you can make a good pizza. But it's easy to cover up mistakes with a bunch of crap. So I usually just get a cheese pizza. But I would say mushroom. Tobek's landscape balance is another thing that is kind of a never-ending battle. I wouldn't want to speak as to... I wouldn't want to kind of issue a decree on behalf of the development team as to where we feel the proper power level of landscape balance both is and should be. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw some adjustments. Is there a class for which there isn't a vocal group wanting their favorite to get some work done? That is a great question. I think the answer is no. I think we basically have every class pretty much usually wanting us to do work on them. Kind of a never-ending battle there, but we've said that a million times already, so, you know. We will do our best, and we make adjustments as often as we can. Get my Hobbit present! Yeah, you're right. I know, that bothers people just to see it sitting there. cool. Some figments. Alright, one more. Oh, hey, Mordor Archer. I'm going to take care of my requirement. Oh, would it be possible to have a per-player personal buff on landscape so that you could essentially boost up, I think, a player to more easily compete in particularly difficult landscapes? I think something like that seems, seems possible. I think that might be one way to do it, for example. Come on, I don't get credit for that one? Alright. Oh, there we go. Cool. Find the entrance, talk to Mickledy. Okay. Okay. It's 1 o'clock here, so I am going to wrap up in the fairly near future here. Let me just kind of see if there's any final points people would like me to address, anything I can mention. We are working, like I say, on a hot fix for next week to address a couple of bugs from this week. We'll have more on the raid hitting Bulwer, I would imagine, in the relatively near future. We are also going to, at some point here, be making forward momentum on the producer's letter, so hopefully that'll happen in the relatively near future, but it's going to be a while yet. We're really locking down the final elements of our 2020 plan this week into part of next. And regardless of where we end up there, I think we're going to figure out, at least kind of work on a producer's letter of, well, what can we say? What do we have kind of confirmed? And do that work probably within the next week or two, I would think. So you can find the full schedule. Oh, a couple of things actually before I wrap up. A couple of community news bits. First off, thank you to everyone from Winterstock last week, and including Druid's Fire, who streamed the whole shebang over on her Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DruidsFire. And all the organizers of Winterstock, I hear it was a big event, and it seemed to go real well. And there's some good video evidence of it, and a nice big crowd. So, congratulations to everyone there. I also know we've got a couple other events in the relatively near future, and you can find out more info about that at the main community site, lotroartists.com. Otherwise, got basically 2020 in full swing at this point. Full steam ahead on all development work and what have you is really where we sit. So hope you're having hope you've had a good month in January here. We're moving into February in the not too distant future. And full speed ahead on development here. So hope you've been enjoying the new instances. And we look forward to sharing more information with you about the raid and more here in the near future. What other kind of community note should I mention?
Look upon the battlefield.
There we go.
Shall soon be there.
All right. Okay. Done with over on Twitch. Actus, we're going to be having more information about transfers here in the near future. We're making progress, but we have nothing to announce today. All right, and that's YouTube. And then Yulefest Encore over on Facebook. I'm going to be talking with the team in the coming days about what we want to do for Encores for this year and see if we can't get at least a couple of them locked down and put into the event schedule, because I know some people would like to see that. All right, thanks very much for watching, everyone. I hope you're having a great time. Corey Olson will be up next. Druid's Fire will be up later, and you can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotroStream. Have fun, everyone, and I'll talk to you next week.